Hi. Okay, so welcome to day one of the Lisa Heal Yourself diet. And this is basically, I made this diet because I'm so frustrated with all the diets that I've tried. And I wanted to combine them all into one because I always get frustrated and I'm like, if I'm keto, I'm like, oh, I should be vegan. And if I'm vegan, I'm like, oh, I should be paleo. And if I'm paleo, I should... You know, you hear all this conflicting advice all the time. And so this diet incorporates everything, in my opinion, that is good for the human being. It detoxifies, it cleanses, and it also builds and nourishes. And it's long lasting because you're not doing something for such a long time that it depletes you or wears you out or your willpower breaks down or whatever. So it is a difficult diet, especially the first couple of days, but it's also a diet that can be done for a long time. If you stick with it, it gets easier as the weeks go by. It gets easier as you do it. The first week might be very tough if you're not used to it, but it gets easier. So I want to talk about day one, and that is water fasting. So you probably think, well, what's there to say about water fasting? You're drinking water. So yes, that's true. So what I do is I will get at the beginning of the day 2 large mason jars of water. So I will take these mason jars, fill them with water, and there's many different things to be said about water, and I'll do a water video. I already have talked about water in the past, but do your best. Use the cleanest water that you have available to you. So what I do, I mean, I know getting the best water systems, it's confusing and it can be expensive. So, and there's many different things that are good, from reverse osmosis to, you know, Keegan water, alkaline water, and we have like spring water. There's all kinds of different waters and techniques to purify things. But anyways, what you don't want to do is drink tap water. So for this, we're not going to drink tap water. For me, I have got spring water from the grocery store. It's the best spring water that I can find in my area. And I filter it through my Berkey. And that filters out a lot of things out of it. And so it's spring water to begin with, it's not tap water, and then I get the double filter, and then I put it in my jars. So once I put it in my jars, I want to add a 1/4 teaspoon of Celtic sea salt. Take a look at this. There's Celtic sea salt, and unrefined is what you want. So go ahead and put a 1/4 teaspoon in. I also would recommend putting in minerals. So let's see what minerals I have here. Are plant-derived minerals. Yeah, they're plant-derived minerals from Longevity. And I just get a dropper, and I'm just gonna put, like, you know, up to 6 to 10 drops in each. So I'm probably gonna put, I probably want 10 drops in total. I don't wanna overdo it, so I'm gonna put 5 drops in each one. I also use Willard Water. So you can see this. And I just put a teaspoon of Willard Water, or maybe a 1/2 teaspoon in each one. And go ahead and drink it. And this helps to structure the water. It also helps to detoxify your body. So if it's in the summer, once you put that in your water, I sometimes set them outside on the ground, not on the deck or on the pavement, but on the grass. And that helps to structure the water. If you leave it out there for 5 to 6 hours, it structures the water. So it starts to become, you know, back part of, it gets the energy from the sun and the earth below. And so that's a cheap and easy way to structure your water. I know there's a lot of structured water contraptions and things that will spin your water and things that can make structured water, but this is a cheap, easy method. So saying that, don't get caught up on any of that. If you don't have any of that, don't worry about it. Just drink the water. But do add Celtic sea salt. If you don't have Celtic sea salt, use pink Himalayan salt, and don't worry about it. Don't use table salt though. So if you don't have either one of those, just go out and buy them, but just get started anyway with just plain water. It will do the trick. The reason why you want to add the salt and the minerals is because you don't want your electrolytes to get depleted. You don't want to get worn down. You just don't want your body to become in that, like water fasting's hard on your body, especially day one. So that's why we keep our electrolytes up and we keep our mineral levels up. So anyways, so the first day is just water fasting. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna drink at least these 2 before you move on to anything else. So you commit these 2. When these 2 are done, I just fill them up with plain water. I don't worry about minerals anymore. I don't worry about salt. I don't worry about Willard Water, whatever. Just fill it up with my a filtered spring water through the Berkey filter, and go ahead and just drink it for the rest of the day. Now, I just want to talk about challenges. So sometimes this can be hard on your system, especially if you're really sick. When I was really, really ill, anytime I did a detox, I would get 1,000 times worse. I would detoxify and my symptoms would come out like crazy. It would completely shut me down, so I couldn't detox on any level. So that's part of the reason for using the minerals. But I just want to say, if it's too, you know, I've done 2, 3, 4 day water fast and juice fast for weeks on end and things like this, and they always shut me down. They always shut me down. So one day shouldn't be too hard on your body, but when you're really ill, your symptoms will start to come out. You'll start to get, you know, migraines, splitting headaches. Your symptoms will flare. Your neurological symptoms will flare. All of these symptoms usually flare because the body isn't used to this, and it's hard on the body because it's been used to a steady supply of fat and glucose and whatever else you're feeding it. So if you cannot get through the full day of fasting, first of all, try. If you can't, don't beat yourself up, okay? Just move on to day 2 in a sense, which is add a cup of bone broth or add a cup of fresh pressed juice, which is what we do on day 2. We just do like the juice fast and the bone broth fast. So if you are finding that you can't get through day 1 without your symptoms flaring and you going completely crazy, add something from day 2, either a bone broth or a fresh vegetable juice, and don't consider yourself a failure. That's number 1, okay? You're just doing the best that you can. If you need to brew a tea, it has to be herbal. Like if you want to put a mint leaf in, have your water the same way. It's still structured spring water, just spring water through the Berkey filter. It's filtered. Put it into your tea kettle, boil the water, put in your teacup, and you can either add 1 drop of essential oil, like a cinnamon is great. A drop of lemon is great, or a drop of peppermint, and that will be enough. And you stir it up, that will be enough to give you an intense flavor that will help you sort of get through the day. Don't do it if you don't have to, but that's a nice thing that you can do. If you're really finding your symptoms getting to you, you can add a squirt of lemon. That will also help. And so just move on to day 2. If that's not doing it and you're like, you know, dying, then move on to day 3. Add a smoothie. Take your fresh pressed juice, put it in your blender, and add a half of an avocado and blend it up to give yourself a little more substance. Or take the broth, put it in your blender, and add in, you know, a few cooked carrots and or a few cooked pieces of broccoli, and make like a little bit more heavy of a soup. So those aren't till day 3, and those aren't till day 2 and 3. But I just want to say, if you are totally feeling like you're failing, you don't think you can get through it, then just move on. And it's not like you're moving on, you're just adding something in to help you get through the hump. And then go back to water. Just finish the day with water, but if you need that little bit extra, don't beat yourself up. This is all about listening to our bodies, and it is pushing our bodies. We do want that day of fasting because we want the metabolic reset that comes with fasting. Fasting is an old time honored tradition in all cultures, religions. It's been used to heal many, many people before we had medications and doctors. That was their go-to way to heal people, is to fast them. Even Hippocrates you know, the father of medicine would say, you know, fast your people. So that is what we want to do, but we don't want to push ourselves with 2, 3, 4, and 5 day water fasts, which are incredibly beneficial if you can get through them. But I find for very, very ill people, especially myself, it's almost incredibly impossible to get through them and to reap the benefits that you get on day 4 and day 5 of a water fast and the complete metabolic reset that happens on day 4 and 5. It's almost torture to get through day 1, 2, and 3 to get to that point. So at this rate, if you're water fasting and you follow this diet, if you commit to following it for a year and you do this diet every day, at the end of the year, you will have fasted 52 days out of the entire year, which is incredible. If you commit to following this diet for 6 months, then you will have fasted, you know, 20 some days. And so that's incredible. That's really incredible. You have to give yourself credit for it. And just the 1 day of fasting can give your body the metabolic boost that it needs, help to restore mitochondria, help to sort of shut down that, you know, everything that is coming in, the glucose and all of these things. And it can help to stimulate autophagy, where your cells are eating the bad ones, and start the healing response. So it's enough. And get through the whole day of water, fill your 2 waters with the minerals and the salt, and then after that, just drink plain water. If you need to drink plain hot water with, you know, a sprig of mint in it or something to feel like you're drinking tea, go ahead. And if it's too hard on you, just add a little bit of juice in, add a little bit of coconut water for your electrolytes, add a little bit of bone broth or something from the next day to get yourself through, and consider it a success. I want you to consider it a success no matter what happens in the water fast. But do try your best. Don't just say, oh, well, she said I could do this, so I'm not even gonna do it. Try, do the water fast. It is beneficial to fast. That is, you know, an incredible benefit to your body if you can get through it. But don't make yourself so ill that you just quit the entire thing. So good luck. I hope that helps. And good luck on your water fast. It's incredibly difficult after you've been eating and eating and eating, because the ghrelin in your stomach will rumble and your body will trick you into thinking you're hungry. But that will pass by the evening, and by the time you're going to bed, that will pass. You will see that it will pass. And if you were to go on to day 2 and 3 and 4, which is something that you could do later on or a couple of times a year, you'll find after just doing 1 day and repeating it every week, it will get easier and easier and easier to go into that mode. And then you'll be able to do longer fasts if that's what you want to do. So good luck.